Hey everybody, I'm Corbin Hostler, this is Mining Modern, and this is Black-White Eldrazi Taxes that won the Grand Prix last weekend. So we're on the play here. I'm going to keep this hand. This hand's either great or terrible depending on what our opponent's playing, that's for sure. There's a lot of removal here, a lot of, I mean 4 removal spells, 1 mana removal spells, and a nice card advantage card against in a grinding matchup, and it looks like we're going to get Inquisition. So this is pretty good for us because Inquisition doesn't do much against what we have going on. If I were him, I guess you probably take the Path to Exile. Yeah, takes the Lingering Souls, sure. Feels pretty good when your opponent's best play is to make you discard your card with Flashback. Even gives us a turn 2 play. Smasher will be nice later. We're gonna have to find some lands to make it a thing, but it is at least a powerful Magic card. Looks like our opponent's on some sort of Esper list. Alright, there's a land. Let's get the beatdown started with the Lingering Souls. That's such a weird thing about this deck is you have all these colorless sources and it can really mess up like your Tidehauler Scholars. On the other hand, you need them for stuff like Reality Smasher, so it's very awkward sometimes. Guess I'll just attack with the spirits. We could have got in with the Mutavault there, but running Mutavault into Fatal Push or whatever when we're trying to get to Reality Smasher doesn't seem like the best idea. Our opponent's probably just on some sort of Esper control, which makes the Lingering Souls extremely good against them. Makes all this removal in our hand maybe pretty bad, but... And our opponent's in the tank here. He does not have triple blue, so there's no Cryptic coming. I fetch out a basic Swamp, interestingly enough. Don't know what his plan here is. I guess it's the Thought Sees Us, so okay, that'll take away our Smasher. At least now we can bash with Mutavaults without fear. Well, Reality Smasher dealt 2 damage at least. Oh, or we can Thought on him. I'm willing to take a shot resolving the Thought Knot. It's possible we just bash him down there, try to get him to 7, and then swing for 6 the next turn. But I think this is worth trying. You know, he could have cards that don't necessarily deal with it easily, and we can take them. He didn't have a counter spell. I'd like to see this deck maybe run like Cavernous Souls over one of the Mutavaults or something. I don't know. I know you have to balance the colored and the non-colored mana. Oh my gosh. Cast out, huh? I guess the Sphinx's Rev is pretty bad, so we should take the Path, because that means his only way to answer the Thought Knot is to tap out. And Sphinx's Rev, you know, while obviously a very powerful card and good for his long-term plan of getting back in the game, is very slow. I would love for him to tap out. Alright, Wasteland Strangler not going to do much here, so I'm willing to just sort of get in with the Mutavaults. Just go the beatdown route. And you know what? If he wants to activate Shambling Vent, more power to him. No, maybe not. We don't need to walk into that, right? I guess I should have activated with the other Mutavault, but it doesn't really matter, I guess, because he has to tap out to do this. Oh, he drew Path. Well, that's pretty good. I guess ripping Path off the top of your deck is pretty solid. Alright, well, we get him for 4. Man, that was kind of rough. Of course, he missed a land drop, so Sphinx's Rabbit is basically a non-card at this point. Gideon, however, is not a non-card. Okay, so we can play the Wasteland Strangler. I could also just path. I deal him 6. That's not lethal. So I think I'll Wasteland Strangler away the token and then use Mutavault and the Spirits to kill Gideon. Oh, that actually helps quite a bit. So it's weird. He's playing Esper control, but it's definitely different. Alright, so I'm just going to get in with the team here. Unfortunately, he didn't fetch one more time this game. He'd be dead. But now we can finish off Gideon and actually poke him down to 5, which is a pretty relevant life total given what our board is. If we take this game with 4 dead cards in hand, that'd be something. Yeah, this is not a great spot for him to be in. Knowing we had all that removal and had mana open to do it, I just don't even think playing that Gideon was great. But okay, there we go. Game 1 down. All right, Brutality, yes please. Thoughtseize and Surgicals, yes please. Don't need Shriek Maws. Don't need as many Stranglers, I would say, even though obviously it was fine in that game. Don't need the should rather have the well, yeah, Dismember kills Gideons. Path is a little worse. Honestly, we have a lot of bad cards in this matchup. I want Liliana. Cut a Fatal Push for it. Liliana's pretty good. Sort of a, you know, a way to win that. We want our answers to be varied here, right? So, like, Path has some value because of processing with Wasteland Strangler. And it's a little more flexible than Fatal Push is, but I don't know if we want all paths. Because it does, you know, give him land. Maybe we do. Maybe Fatal Push just doesn't matter. Maybe he's just not going to give us anything to Fatal Push. Liliana's just a nice little card advantage card, something he can't easily deal with if it hits the board, and it does have an ultimate that'll win the game, so makes him respect it. Alliance doesn't matter. Silence doesn't matter. Fulminator Mage could be fine, but doesn't really matter. Kalidas and Shriek Maws I don't think matter much. All right. Our deck is decently positioned against control. You know, we'd rather play against creatures or like grindy decks, or, you know, like a John Abzan sort of thing. Stuff that you can really get with Wasteland Stranglers, but Lingering Souls is also good against. That's the kind of matchup we want. But I think our deck is pretty reasonably positioned against this deck. Just not this hand. Give me a Swamp in this hand. I'd snap keep it. And our opponent moved to 6 as well. I'm going to keep it. We're on the draw. It's got great cards against him. That's not exactly the land on top of my deck I want, but I will keep it for the Lingering Souls. The relic makes it a lot better than it might otherwise be. Although we're going to get Thoughtseize here. And now he could actually, he doesn't know this, but he could really blow us out by taking our Lingering Souls. This deck's mana is just so questionable. That actually worked out. He took the Thought Knot. Alright, so the Relic is probably both good against him because I assume there's Snapcasters involved. Plus it's a cycle if we need it to be to hit land drops, which is the big reason why I kept the hand. Okay, well, nowhere yet, but we're getting closer. Honestly, I might pop the Relic at the end of his turn, just to try to hit a land, because all we really might have to do is play Lingering Souls to win the game. Maybe it would have been better to go to 5 here. I don't know. I'm not convinced of that. Okay. You can make us discard a Lingering Souls if you'd like. Our opponent down to 3. He's only got 3 cards. Like, we can assume 1 or 2 from lands. Like, Lingering Souls is just so good against him. I am going to go ahead and pop this Relic, though. Okay, well, that's a land. And that's a better land. So, I'm actually really tempted here. I'm not going to, because I think just playing Lingering Souls is correct. But I won't lie, it's very tempting to Inquisition him there, given that he Thoughtseize our Thoughtseize. It really makes me think that he probably has a Gideon or something he's about to slam down. But I think that this is still fine because Lingering Souls will pressure the Gideon, and the Gideon's still going to be good for him. But we get to go second Lingering Souls plus Inquisition. And that, you know, he'll have some tokens at the end of the day or whatever. But, oh, and he just has nothing. Okay, then. Oh, he's got a Verdict. Sure, whatever. Well, I'll give you something to Verdict, friend. Man, Lingering Soul is just so clutch in these matchups. Yeah, he's just forced the Verdict. And then he's, you know, we just get to flash one of them back, play the Relic. So he needs to draw pretty well to get out of this. Don't think that island was doing it. He might choose to take another turn before verdicting. I don't think so. I think he just has to slam it though, given that right now we can only flash back 1 Lingering Souls. Concealed Courtyard did a lot for this deck, though. This deck was actually playable before Concealed Courtyard, but man, Concealed Courtyard sure did a bunch. Wow, this is the plan, okay. I don't like this plan if you're him. And sure, it negates one half of those, one of the Lingering Souls or whatever, but look how hard he gets punished here. Now we just take his Verdict and kill him. Now, of course, if he draws another Verdict or whatever, then it's sort of value, but if he just doesn't draw another Verdict, he's going to die very soon. Might be contemplating a path here. Oh. That's pretty good. And I still take the Verdict, because even if he hits the land to play this, we have enough tokens to kill it. We actually don't. I mean, we have to take the Verdict, though, otherwise he just Verdicts and gets the Sun's Champion back anyways. Okay, well, that card would certainly be annoying. He'd actually get to fire off 2 uses of it, since we only have 4 tokens. So really we just wanted to miss on an untapped land this turn, because then we can play at Lingering Souls. And I might just try to kill him, to be honest. We'll see. I mean, this game depends very much on whether he drew an untapped land here. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Looks like he did not hit the land he needed, which is pretty good for us. Did you draw a Snapcaster? Trying to Relic him here. What's he thinking about? If he did draw a Snapcaster, it'd be pretty good for him. Honestly, I would be a way in which he could win, because he'd then, you know, be able to realistically curve Verdict into, okay, that's a magic card. Is it a magic card worth playing? I actually don't think it is. It is a magic card. Let's put some at 8. Well, I'm not going to play the... I'm not going to flash back the... I'm tempted to flash back the Lingering Souls. You know, it is a card we could have played there, but it's not lethal, whereas next turn it will be. But it's the perfect play if he taps out for Elspeth. Yeah, he did draw Snapcaster. I mean, I guess I don't really care. Snapcaster is a very good draw for him. Alright, he gets a Pathar guy. There's nothing we can do about that, right? Nope, okay. Alright, so he's got Verdict and Elspeth in hand. He's at 8. So we'll do nothing here. And if he is greedy and doesn't play Verdict, then we'll probably just win. Smasher is a very good draw. Snapcaster is great for him. Smasher is really good for us. It's actually a little dangerous of him to do that in our attack, because if we had, say, drawn Thoughtseize or something, we could have punished him pretty hard for it. Alright, looks like here comes the Shambling Vent attack. Okay. I guess I can see it. Maybe. I mean, it slows the game down quite a bit. We are, unfortunately, and he had, okay, so he had the land even. Unfortunately, we're 1 point off of killing him now. Okay. Another Lingering Souls, huh? I'll play that one. And we know those 2 cards, so you're actually very close to killing him. Just 1 point off. But what I am going to do is play this other Lingering Souls. Because now, if he makes that same play and goes back up to 8 or whatever, then we have lethal with the Smasher. So he, like, I think he might be priced, and he has to Verdict now because he can't play Elspeth. If he plays Elspeth, he's dead to the Flyers in the Air. So if he Verdicts, then we just flash back to Lingering Souls, and he's still way, way, way under the gun. That Shambling Vent attack, I think, was pretty odd on his part. I think he needed... Honestly, if I was him there, I would have slammed Elspeth and plus Elspeth. There's no reason not to. What is happening here? Okay. Well, he's certainly going to price me into playing the Reality Smasher. Because if he has... And he had a land, so he's just dead because we know what his 2 cards are. Mutavault's not a bad draw either there, for what it's worth. Okay, well this should do it, because his 2 cards are Verdict and Elspeth. Even if, like, say he hadn't played land there and he had Path, then he has to discard one of those 2 cards, and then he's just dead anyway. So, it was weird of him not to just play a game of chicken there. The turn before we put in the 3rd Lingering Souls, I think I would have played the Elspeth, plus the Elspeth, put some tokens on the board. Then we poke. The best we could do is poke the Elspeth down to 1, at which point he can Verdict. And yeah, we can flashback Lingering Souls, and he has to draw Snapcaster or Verdict again. And given that we have Relic, he basically has to draw Verdict. But at least he has an Elspeth on the table and has an opportunity to do that. And maybe he was just trying to buy himself more turns to try to draw that. But yeah, that Smasher that we timed out to the right moment was really good. So good match.